Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Adventures of FoxFoil. Today, what I thought we would do is do a little work on the background to our main base area, because if we go and look over here, I mean, it's just really plain. There's the hill, we've got some trees, there's nothing really over here. And so I thought that what we would do is go through the process of adding some more character to this scene and make it a little bit nicer to look at in the background. Before we can get a bunch of new resources, we need to put away all of the resources that we were using in our last project, and I've just finished going through and emptying out all of the shulker box. This is the last little bit that we have here, is this cobblestone, and these are now all empty and ready to be loaded up into our ender chest and used to gather some more resources. So there's a couple of different types of resources that we need to gather up, because we've got oak and spruce wood that's featured primarily in a lot of these builds, and we're just about out of spruce. I think we have a little bit of oak, and then we've got dark oak here, but I don't know that we're going to have very many more buildings with this combination of blocks. I want to kind of keep it with some of these other lighter browns and grays. So we need to get some of those things together and get over to our tree farm to get some trees chopped down. I think I've been able to collect enough wood for what we need to do today and a little bit more. So we've got that shulker box of oak, we've got spruce, and more spruce. And then we've got some leaves here for oak leaves and then some spruce leaves there. And then we've also got a bunch of sticks. We're back here at the bamboo farm, and I want to pick up a few things that were left here in the chest. I mean, I've got a ton of resources that are just lying around, but mostly I wanted to get some more of this dirt and grass block shulker boxes that I've been holding, which came from when I flattened out the area of the bamboo farm. So we need a couple of those. I also want to pick up these shulker boxes and take those with us, just because they've got some stuff in there, and just want to have all of my shulker boxes back. Whoa. Ooh. It's a little tricky getting in and out from here, but there we go. Out. Before we head back to the base, I wanted to pick up the items that were over here in the mob farm. I had AFK'd here a few days ago, and there was a bunch of items and I didn't have the shulker boxes to take them. So as you can see, I mean, we've got plenty of gunpowder, we've got bones, we've got string, and a little bit of rotten flesh. And then there's a bunch of arrows that I haven't picked up yet. So I'm going to take these back with me, and then we need to get some more things together for what we want to work on in the project today. I've been sitting here looking at this landscape and trying to figure out what would be the best way in order to improve it. And I've got a couple of different ideas on how we can make this look a little bit more interesting. And the first is that we've got this windmill here, and I think it's looking a little bit lonely, and that it would look a lot better if we had a total of 3 or 5 windmills just kind of dotted around on this hill here, kind of coming down. The other thing that I've been looking at is that if you look at this terrain, it's got this really steep slope here, but we've got sort of this platform here. And I think that what we need to do is just kind of like what we did over here, is expand some of these layers out and do a little bit of terraforming to make it have a little bit more space that we can work with, because we can make this look a lot better if we add in some of these farms around the windmills. And in order to do that, we need a lot more flat area to work with. So I've gone through and made the changes to the terrain so that we can be able to start building the different windmills. And so we've got a spot right here for one. We have a spot up here and right here. And I think that we'll do another one here. And so we'll have a total of 5. And I think just having them all sort of along this ridge here will work out really well. And then the other thing that we'll do is in all of these flat areas around, we'll fill it in with some wheat fields and kind of have them stretch out over here towards the ruined castle. We have laid out where each of the windmills are going to go. And you can see right here, we've got the 4, which with this one will make it 5. And they kind of just go in sort of this little line here, not in a direct line. We want to keep it a little bit interesting. And so I think that what we'll do is we'll have a path that comes down to this one. The path will then go over to that one, and then a path up to here, and then a path from over here down to there. But I think that that's a good spot. let's go ahead. I'm going to roll a time lapse of me building each of these windmills. We finished building the windmills and we have a bunch of wheat planted and already growing in very nicely. It's just about done. There's a few little ones left, but for the most part, it's completely finished up. And we've got some hay bales in the different areas just to kind of help bring a little bit more life to this area. I think that the windmills turned out pretty well. On this one, I actually ended up redesigning this part of the windmill, the sail part. I don't know what the technical term is for it, but I did do a redesign of it just because I wasn't completely happy with the way that it looked. And I tried to make it so that each of these were slightly different from the other ones so that it wouldn't be all the same when looking at it from a distance. Adding in the windmills really made a difference with the iron farm because having these taller structures over on this side helps to balance that out. And when you look at this area from above, the iron farm used to really just stick out, but now it's just part of the landscape. And I think it all has come together really nicely. I think that with these farms over here and the farmland over there, this whole area is looking a lot more alive and complete. There was one more thing that I wanted to do before we end today's episode, and that was to use one of these windmills to add in a lava farm. Down here, we have the farms for a couple of different types of resources. We've got basalt over here, we've got mud over there, and right here we have the dripstone, and we're going to be using the dripstone to create a little bit of a renewable lava source. And I've been collecting up quite a bit of dripstone over the last couple of months. Just every time I come through here, I break a few and then just save it in this chest. Probably won't need this much. I'm just going to bring up enough so that way we don't have to worry about running out. The other item that we're going to need for this farm are some cauldrons, and I have a bunch made up here that we're going to be able to use. And then the last thing that we need to get is a bunch of lava. So I have some buckets. Let's see, if we go over here, should have some buckets in our supply chest. Yep, so we got about 15 here. We might need to get a few more, so let me get those and then we're going to go get some lava. I've collected up 18 buckets of lava, and then we have the dripstone and the cauldrons, which is pretty much everything that we need in order to get this farm built. What we are going to do is dig down into this area, sort of like what we did with the automated wheat farm, and we're going to make a space for which we can put in this lava farm. I finished digging out this area, and if we go down, you can see this is a pretty basic thing. I mean, we just got some stone bricks, a lantern, and the ladder. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have the lava run along here in 2 rows of 9, and then we'll have the cauldrons underneath. The next step is to add in the lava, and it needs to be a lava source block in each of these areas. And so we're going to have to carefully place all of this lava in such a way that we have a source block of lava on each spot. Otherwise, we won't be able to get any lava to generate it. The next stage that we need to do is add in the dripstone here underneath each of these spots. And I think I might add in an extra one in. The next part is to add the cauldrons underneath, and then we should have these start to fill up with lava in each of these spots. While we wait for these to fill up with lava, the other thing that I'm going to do is add some barrels in over here. And we'll put some barrels in over on this side as well, just for symmetry purposes. And then inside, we're going to put a bunch of buckets, because we'll be able to use the buckets to get lava, and then we can store the lava in these barrels as it fills up. All right, we've got our first 2 cauldrons filled up. Let's get some buckets and we'll be able to collect the lava here. So this is our first lava that we are collecting, and we've got 2 buckets, and that should be really good. Let's put them in the one down here, and we can start to fill up these barrels. And we have just about half of these filled in, which is pretty good. And we'll be able to use this to get a lot of lava in the future, which will be useful for some upcoming projects that I want to do. Sadly, that is all that we have time for in today's episode. Next week, we are going to be going back over to where we built the bamboo farm, and we are going to be adding in a whole new structure, which I am really excited about. But if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, see you later.